Have you ever wondered why you've been feeling exhausted, anxious, or even physically ill without any clear medical explanation? Maybe it's not a virus. Maybe it's not just common stress. Maybe you're being drained by a narcissist, and you don't even realize it. A narcissist doesn't just mess with your emotions. They play with your vital energy, your perception of reality, and your nervous system. They disrupt your mental balance in such a subtle way that you don't notice until you're already trapped in emotional fog. And this is what makes it so dangerous. While you think you're losing your sanity, you're actually being manipulated. Most narcissists are not easy to identify. They're not always openly arrogant or self-centered. Many of them are charming, polite in public, charismatic, even helpful, but only when it serves them. In private, they are cold, calculating, cruel, and experts at making you feel like you are the problem. These people use a psychological technique called gaslighting. This happens when they constantly make you question what you saw, felt, or heard. They make you believe you're exaggerating, that you misunderstood, or that you're being overly sensitive. They invalidate you without raising their voice. And that slowly destroys your self-trust, all while you believe you're just trying to be fair. Over time, this psychological manipulation leads to physical effects. What starts as emotional exhaustion becomes insomnia, chronic anxiety, heart palpitations, mental fatigue, muscle pain, and even autoimmune diseases. Why? Because your body enters a constant state of alert. Your nervous system gets stuck in defense mode. You live waiting for the next conflict, the next criticism, the next humiliation, and that produces cortisol, a lot of cortisol. And when stress hormones flood your system non-stop, your immunity weakens, your digestion falters, and your memory deteriorates. Carl Jung, one of the greatest psychiatrists of the 20th century, explained that we all carry a shadow within us. But the narcissist doesn't just deny their shadow, they project it onto you, and they make you carry it, so you end up feeling responsible for their frustrations, absorbing their anger, and becoming the scapegoat for their emptiness. And the most tragic part? It often starts with a mask of love. The narcissist, at first, makes you feel special. They adapt to your tastes, say exactly what you want to hear, and idealize you. Then, just when you relax and trust them, they change. The mask falls, but by then you're emotionally hooked. The bond is formed, and now begins the cycle of idealization, devaluation, and discard. A cycle that repeats so many times your mind can no longer tell what's real. This cycle doesn't just confuse you, it fragments you. It breaks your identity. One day you feel like you're enough, and the next you feel like a total failure. That emotional roller coaster creates dependence. It's an addiction, not to love, but to the relief that comes when they finally treat you well after being cruel. This pattern is called intermittent reinforcement. It's the same technique used in animal experiments. When rewards are unpredictable, the brain releases more dopamine. The narcissist knows this and uses it. Many people ask, but how can someone who says they love you cause so much pain? The answer is painful but simple, because they don't love you. They need you, but they don't love you. To a narcissist, people are not people. They're extensions of their ego, tools to fill their inner void, mirrors to reflect the image. They want to believe about themselves, and when they can no longer control you, they discard you. But before that, they will do everything they can to make you feel like you are the toxic one, you are the selfish one, you are the real problem. And then you get sick. You don't get sick overnight. It happens slowly. It begins in your soul. First, your trust is broken, then your self-worth, then your connection with others, and finally, your body starts to show the symptoms. Because when the soul is silenced, the body begins to scream. You feel disconnected from yourself. You lose your sense of direction. You become more anxious, more sad, more irritable. Your body tenses up, your mind becomes confused, and your vital energy is drained. All of this happens while the narcissist goes on with their life, as if nothing happened, or worse, they play the victim. And why didn't you notice it earlier? Because the narcissist trained you to doubt your own reality. They conditioned you to justify them, to believe that if they treat you badly, it's because they're just stressed. If they mock you, it's just their way. If they disappear, it's because they need space. But it's never about you. It's always about their needs. Carl Jung said, "What we do not make conscious appears in our life as fate." And in this case, many tolerate a narcissist because they were raised in environments filled with emotional manipulation, because they learned that love hurts, because they confused control with care, because someone in their childhood taught them that their worth depended on pleasing others. The narcissist simply reactivates that old script. That's why physical distance isn't enough. You have to cut the energetic cord. You have to heal the root. You have to reprogram what you believe you deserve. You are not exaggerating. You are not imagining things. You are waking up. And though it hurts, awakening is the first step to true freedom. The moment you begin to wake up from the influence of a narcissist, your entire inner world starts to shift. You begin to realize how deeply conditioned you were to silence your needs, suppress your instincts, and abandon yourself. And this is the hardest truth. Narcissistic abuse doesn't just damage your emotions, it programs your entire nervous system to distrust yourself. This is why healing from a narcissist is not just about moving on, it's about deep, intentional recovery. It's about deprogramming the internalized lies they planted in your mind, that you were too emotional, that you were too sensitive, that you were the one causing the problems, that their silence was your fault. These are not facts. These are manipulations, and once you start naming them, the fog begins to lift. But that doesn't mean healing is linear. After being entangled with a narcissist, you may still feel guilty when you set boundaries. You may still miss them, despite everything. You may find yourself justifying their behavior long after they've left. Why? Because trauma bonds are not broken with logic alone. They require emotional detox. They require rebuilding your sense of reality, brick by brick, and that takes courage. A narcissist's most powerful weapon is confusion. The more confused you are, the easier you are to control. That's why they rewrite history. That's why they blame you for their outbursts. That's why they twist your words and say you're overreacting. Confusion is not a coincidence. It's a strategy. Carl Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." This is why narcissists often reappear in patterns, different faces, same energy. Because until you heal the inner wound, you'll continue to attract reflections of it. This doesn't mean it's your fault. It means it's your opportunity. The pain is the invitation to break the cycle. When you start to see the manipulation clearly, something powerful happens. You stop negotiating your worth. You stop apologizing for existing. You stop shrinking to avoid conflict. And you stop believing that love must be earned through sacrifice. A healthy love never makes you question your reality. It never makes you fear speaking up. It never drains your spirit. If someone's presence in your life is making you sick, exhausted, or confused, it's not love. It's control wrapped in affection. It's abuse in disguise. And here's another harsh truth. Narcissists don't change because they don't see anything wrong with what they're doing. They don't seek help because they don't believe they need it. They don't apologize sincerely because they believe their actions are justified. So waiting for them to become who they pretended to be is a trap. It keeps you stuck in hope while they feed off your pain. That's why healing must become your rebellion. You reclaim your voice, you reclaim your time, you reclaim your body, your mind, your intuition, your energy. And in doing so, you return to your truth, the version of you that existed before the manipulation began. The journey isn't easy. You will grieve, not only the person you thought they were, but also the parts of yourself that you lost in the process. But you will also find something else: resilience, self-respect, and clarity. You'll realize that your sensitivity is not a weakness, it's a gift. That your ability to love deeply is not a flaw, it's sacred. You'll realize that being too much for the wrong person is a sign that you're finally becoming enough for yourself. This is how you truly heal. Not by seeking revenge, not by waiting for closure, but by rising, by becoming so deeply grounded in your truth that no one can shake it again. Protect your peace like your life depends on it, because it does. Protect your nervous system, protect your dreams, protect your boundaries, and most of all, protect your inner child, the one who once believed that love meant pain. Today, that child is waking up. Today, that child is learning that real love feels safe. Real love listens. Real love respects. Real love heals. So if your body has been speaking to you through anxiety, exhaustion, or illness, listen. It's not just stress. It's not just life. It's the weight of everything you were never meant to carry, and now it's time to put it down. If this message spoke to your soul, type "I choose healing" in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more powerful truths and recovery guidance, only here on Healing Echoes.